Hare Krishna, Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj.
Very happy to be here with all of you.
Thank you, Maharaj.
There are devotees here from Kuwait. There are some devotees here from Kerala, from Guruvayur. There are devotees here from Coimbatore. And all together, so we're trying to manage things together. That's why it took so little time. I hope that's something that's adjusted now. So very happy to be here with all of you on this very, very auspicious occasion of Gita Jayanti and also many things today. I think in Coimbatore, in all over Tamil Nadu for that matter, people are very busy with Vaikuntha Ekadasi. It's a very, very important, massive festival that everybody is preparing for. And I'm sure all of you are also, many of you are also in that mood. And more than anything, today is Mokshada Ekadashi, which is also very, very dear to many devotees. I'm just going to briefly share the screen with you and see if you can see the screen. I don't know whether it's possible. Right. So the main thing, I'm very happy to be here all with you, with all of you on this very auspicious day of Gita Jayanti. I know many of you are been students in the Gita life, in the Bhagavad Gita overview, in the Bhakti Shastri, or you've attended Gita sessions every Sunday or on other days, in important days, and at different occasions have met with me or met with devotees in ISKCON or otherwise during my visits on tours everywhere. So I'm very, very happy to connect with you today and be with you on this very important and most auspicious day of great relevance to all of us. So I will offer some prayers and I'd like you all to join with me. Om Jnanadimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So, as I said, I'm repeating again, I am indeed very happy to be here with all of you on this very, very auspicious occasions. I like to welcome devotees from Kuwait, devotees from Guruvayur and other parts of Kerala, devotees from Coimbatore, and who have all come together here to hear a few words on this very auspicious day. Some of you may have already spent your time chanting the whole Bhagavad Gita, doing a yajna and other things. Some of you are waiting to do it, having come back from office because today is a working day. I appreciate that and I understand that very much. So we are indeed very happy to be of some service to you. Today is the greatest service day. And I will tell you why it is so as we move along here. So we cannot speak about Bhagavad Gita and Krishna and Arjuna's conversation without paying our respects to Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, who took the Bhagavad Gita's message all over the world. Today, we are publishing the Bhagavad Gita, as you know, as some of you know, in 87 languages. the world's largest publishers of the Bhagavad Gita. And Prabhupada is instrumental in doing that very amazing, fantastic job of going around the world and introducing the Bhagavad Gita to anybody and everybody. So we offer our most humble respects to Prabhupada, by whose mercy we have been able to read, chant the Gita, try to live the Gita, teach the Gita, distribute the Gita. So it's a very great service he has involved all of us in. So many, many obeisances and thanks to Srila Prabhupada. And we have to definitely speak and say a few words, if not everything, about Lord Chaitanya, who is none other than Krishna himself, due to whose wonderful mercy on humanity, we have been able to get the true essence of the Bhagavad Gita. The true essence of the Bhagavad Gita through the wonderful, pure devotee, Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. So we are very, very indebted to the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, whose version of the Gita that we are hearing in the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, and whose version and explanation of the Bhagavad Gita all the great acharyas have brought down. And you will see Prabhupada in his book is offering his respects to Baladev Vidyabhushan, whose particular commentary he has used extensively in explaining the Gita. Of course, he used many other commentaries also. So we are indeed indebted to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu ki jai. So like I said today, I want to also wish you a happy new year, because we're very close to 5 days, 6 days more for 2021. And some of you may be thinking, oh, what a year it has been. And I also said that it's a wonderful day today. It's Vaikuntha Ekadasi. It's Christmas also. A great personality, a messenger of God, has come down and spoken the word of God. Of course, over a long period of time, all these messages have been warped and they have lost some of their shine. And so also with the Bhagavad Gita. And that is why Krishna has sent his dear devotee Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada to revive the original essence of the Bhagavad Gita. And we call that as it is. And I know that this is a year that has given us a lot of challenges. So we are looking back at a year that has passed and finished. 2020 is finished. So today is a very auspicious day, and we are poised to walk into the new year, 2021. But I know that people are going to reflect on 2020 with amazing emotions. I remember that at the beginning of 2020, we did not know anything about the COVID is going to attack, and nothing we knew. And I made a video called 2020 Perfect Vision and released it on the January 1st, greeting everybody in the new year. I said 2020 is so wonderful. 2020, when you go to check your eyes, they say your vision is perfect 2020. That means you got perfect vision. So I said that this new year is all poised to give us perfect vision and the real content of the Gita, and everything will come to the fore. But at that time, little did I know that by March, the whole world will be closed down, will be totally locked down, and there will be a total reversal of everything that we wanted. This is captured very nicely in this particular message that came to me just yesterday. I picked this up. The message, supposed to actually greet me a happy new year. But watching the 2020 going by, I got this message, Merry Crisis and a Happy New Fear. That was very funny. At the same time, very deep. Instead of a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, I got this. Because now there's a new strain of the COVID that has been announced, and in UK there's total shutdown in many places, in Europe also. And they're saying that this is going to attack us. So we have the happy new fear to deal with. And till December, everybody's been dealing with, for the past 7-8 months, many things. So considering the type of year we have, we'll speak more about that. But people like me have been exhausted because of the type of year that went through, and we've been ecstatically busy. On the one side, we were clogged down and stopped completely. But on another side, we had can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah. So on the one side, this is a funny picture that I got about Sadhu. I thought that I should show you this picture. Yes, some of us have also been in the lockdown, thinking very deeply, and at the same time engaging in counseling many people and helping them. And this has been a great opportunity to spread the message of the Bhagavad Gita. In fact, 2020 has been a great year because people all over the world have been awakened to delve deeply, introspect deeply. So we've had an opportunity also to speak the Bhagavad Gita in its true flavor and sense as it is. And therefore, I thought I'll quickly recollect with you, because today is Gita Jayanti, we must formally do that. We must know what is this Bhagavad Gita, which all the Hindus tout so much about for so long, for ages together. And what Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada packed into the Bhagavad Gita, right? So we will quickly go through that. Actually, Bhagavad Gita, you will see it occurring in chapters 25 to 42 in the Shanti Parva of the Mahabharata. It's written by Vyasadeva. And I don't have to introduce you to Mahabharata or anything. That's where the Bhagavad Gita comes in. And Vyasadeva is a literary incarnation of Krishna, of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And the Bhagavad Gita contains, as you know, 700 shlokas between Krishna and Arjuna. I will also tell you about the breakup that we have in the shlokas. More than anything, Bhagavad Gita is an amazing, crucial conversation. It's not an ordinary conversation between one friend and the other. At the same time, it is a conversation between two very intimate friends, Krishna and Arjuna. And it's a crucial conversation. You saw in management and leadership, when they talk about crucial conversations, it's got strong opinions, high stakes involved, and all these crisscross together. And there is an opposing forces also there. So crucial conversations sometimes occur in our lives too. But we can't do the type of counseling that Krishna did to Arjuna. And neither can we face some of these problems that Arjuna had. They were all million-dollar questions. And no conversation in this world can be like this. It's very unique. It's very crucial, very vital to human society. So the stakes were very high. For Krishna, yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyuthanam adharmasya tadatmanam shrajamiham paritranaya sadhuna vinashaya chadushkritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Krishna has got a stake. He is using the Pandavas to dharma samsthapanarthaya paritranaya sadhuna. He, as a supreme Godhead, is playing his role yada yada hi dharmasya glanir, because dharma has been completely obfuscated, obstructed, and maybe thrown aside. and people who are ruling are not proper. And he has a mission to actually put that right by installing and establishing the right persons on the throne. And he has a stake in it. What's at stake? Pandavas are going to be his instruments. Nimittamatram bhavasavya sachi. So therefore, when Arjuna came up with this whole proposal of, I don't want to fight. Nayotsiti Govinda. I am not going to fight because of all these reasons. Compassion, family traditions will be spoiled, etc., etc. And he came forward and said, I'm not able to fight. And the great warrior Arjuna, an amazing wielder of the Gandiva bow, everybody respects him on both sides of the warring factions. Whole universe knows about him. The demigods know about him. Everybody knows about him. And he is completely in confusion, flummoxed, and ready to give up his duty. And then ensues the conversation. And the conversation starts only when Arjuna gives all his arguments and then knows that they really don't stand very well. And then he accepts Krishna, Sishyaste ham shadimam tvam prapannam. And then mentions Krishna smiled in that battlefield between Prahasan, and he started the Bhagavad Gita, watching Arjuna's plight. And all of us, dear devotees, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, all of us are in this situation, the same moment that Arjuna had. We all have Arjuna moments in our lives. A sacred conversation, an amazing, crucial conversation, which according to the Christian calendar, according to the calendar that we know of, 3138 BCE, more than 5,000 years ago, was spoken on this very day, Mokshada Ekadasi. And we are very fortunate to be able to, on this very day, discuss it. It's just that the Bhagavad Gita was hardly spoken for 40 and 45 minutes or something, so I heard. 700 shlokas were spoken, and Krishna expounded very beautifully, so mercifully, so kindly onto the entire human society. He spoke these beautiful instructions with great love, with great care, with great affection for humanity. And he showed that towards Arjuna. And Arjuna was the representative of the entire humanity. And the mood in which Krishna spoke the Bhagavad Gita, it's filled with love and great devotion, great affection and great care. Mama ivam sajiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana manah shashthan indriyani prakriti sthani harshati. Everybody is suffering, stuck inside the material world. It's all a big illusion. It's not necessary. I am their father. I am everybody's father. Pitaham asya jagato mata data pitamaha. And out of great affection and love, I feel I should give you the instruction how to get out of this predicament that you're in. That's how the Bhagavad Gita ensued. And there Krishna, out of the 700 shlokas that are there in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna spoke 574 shlokas. That's nearly 82% of the Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna spoke 84 shlokas. A lot of them, most of them, questions to Krishna. And of course, you know the other count. Sanjaya spoke 41 shlokas and Dhritarashtra 1. Altogether, it totals to 700 shlokas. 574, 84, 41, and 1. If you take a percentage count of it, you will see that Krishna spoke 82% of the Bhagavad Gita is filled with Krishna's instructions. About 14.6% is Arjuna's questions, which brought out the 82%. And the rest is, of course, a small percentage, maybe 7.2% or something Sanjaya spoke. And then the Dhritarashtra is negligible. In this way, this forms a sum total of the whole instructions of Bhagavad Gita, this beautiful conversation, which we know is the most important scripture of so-called Hindus that we know about. But Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada showed the world that it is not only Hindus, it's everybody in human society will benefit from this, and it should take heed of Krishna's instructions. So in the introduction to Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada explains that this composition of 700 shlokas is the essence of the entire Vedas. You know, the Vedas, it is mentioned very nicely in Chaitanya Charitamrita, that the living entity, the soul, the conditioned person, you and me, will not be on his own able to crack open this whole illusion of Maya and get out of it. It's a very powerful prison house, right? So therefore, Krishna wrote the Vedas. But the Vedas are like a huge wish-fulfilling kalpavriksha tree, or like a wish-fulfilling cow, Kamadenu. And how to find out the essence of that in Kali Yuga is very difficult. So therefore, the Bhagavad Gita is actually the distilled essence. Sarvo Upanishado Gavo Dogdha Gopalanandana Partho Vatsa Sir Bhokta Dugdham Gita Amritam Mahat. If the Upanishads, which is the essential philosophical portion of the Vedas, if they all represented like a cow, Kamadenu, or a Kalpa Vriksha tree, let us say, Vyasadeva mentions it's like a forest, right? So all these analogies are mentioned. The Vedas are like, it's very difficult to go through this. Urdhumulam adashakam ashwattam prahur avyayam chandamsi yasya pranani yastam vedasa vedavid adaschodvam prashitas tasya shakha gunaprabida vishayapravalaha adascha mulani anusantatani karman bandhini manushya loke. It's also given that it's like a huge tree, and it's an upside down tree here. But so it's very difficult for us to traverse it and get to the root of it and understand the essence. So the essence of Bhagavad Gita, the essence of the Vedas is the Bhagavad Gita. And Krishna is the milker of that Kamadenu cow, the whole Veda. Sarvo Upanishada Gavo is represented by a cow. Dogda Gopala Nandana. The person who is milking the cow is Gopala, who is the son of Nanda Maharaj, dear son of Nanda Maharaj. And who is he feeding to? Whenever there's a cow, there's always a calf. And that calf is Arjuna. Dugdam Gita Amritam Mahadev. He is the drinker of that milk. And all of us also can be drinkers of that milk, that essence. So it's so important for us to know Vedas means knowledge, and the essence, the distilled essence of that entire Upanishads and the Vedas is the Bhagavad Gita. Upanishad, sitting close by and hearing. Upa means near, sitting means nishad, and hearing. So you will see that Gita Upanishad, directly next to Krishna, Arjuna sat. Indeed, it is directly heard from Krishna, Ya Swayam Padmanabhasya Mukha Padma Vinihrishta. It's so rare an opportunity that Krishna himself sits down and speaks the absolute truth. He is the absolute truth and he speaks it. You see, the entire Bhagavatam is spoken by devotees. The whole Vedas, it's mentioned, is the breathing of the Supreme Lord Vishnu. But even the whole Veda is the breathing. But the Bhagavad Gita is a direct coming from the lips of the Supreme Absolute Truth, Krishna. So it definitely very special. See, Yasvayam Padmanabhasya Mukha Padma Vinihrishta. From the Padma Mukha, lotus mouth of Krishna, these words came. So how fortunate we all are that Krishna has extended his mercy. Not only that, he has sent his dear devotee, Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada, to present the Bhagavad Gita as it is to us. How fortunate we are. So therefore, I should read the Gita because it is the essence of all knowledge. It is like a manual for your whole life and how to wade yourself through, how to navigate yourself through life. Why should I read? For this purpose, you should read. Because invariably in human life, life is not designed to be stupidly happy. I'm using this word. Don't be stupidly happy. Please, if you think about life, you will know you cannot really be happy. Those who are thinkers and who ask questions, they will actually become depressed. If people answer them, nobody will give you the right answer in this world. And you will have to struggle a lot to know by your own faculties and using your own thing. So people essentially are seekers. And if they don't find what they seek, they can become depressed. Then human society can go array, completely off the track. So by reading Bhagavad Gita, you will get to know who are you, who is God, what is this world, where are you, what's the reality, what's the absolute truth, and you can pursue it in life and achieve success in life. That's why you should read the Gita. There's no question of option whether I should or not. You should, every spirit soul, every human being should actually get to know about himself. It's all about you. It's all about you and your situation. So we can't afford to be, foolishly blinded and think everything is all right. It's not all right. You're going to die. This world is going through a lot of difficulties as we have seen in the past 8-9 months. And really speaking, everybody knows there's no security from anybody. There's no security from my parents. There's no security from my employer. There's no security from the government, from the leaders, from anybody. Something they can do here and there, a little bit patchwork. But ultimately, anything can happen to you anytime. One great relation many people have had is you can't simply depend on any ordinary person. You definitely need somebody extraordinary to depend on when these type of things happen. And the solutions also have to be much more than ordinary solutions. So we therefore have to read the Gita. How should we understand the Gita? You should understand the Gita as it is. Don't interpret it, don't speculate on it. And therefore, you must understand what does it contain, and you must seek the right person who's qualified to speak that to you. And that is the meaning of a bona fide guru. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada comes in the line of bona fide acharyas and gurus, and we are listening to his instructions. And in this way, we are all going to benefit immensely. And many of you are already reading the Gita. So I'm just running through this, what Prabhupada has already mentioned in the introduction to you. And he's also mentioned the whole Bhagavad Gita can split into 5 thematic topics. That is, who are you, by the way? What are you doing here? You found yourself here and you've started asking questions about the world around you. Who are you? And since you're here and since you tend to do things, what do you do? What is the right thing to do? Which is progressive and useful to me. That's called karma. What type of karma you should do? And who is controlling you? Unseen controllers are there. Many things don't happen exactly like we want. And you are within a span of time between your birth and death. So who is controlling all these things? My appearance in this world, my death, and why do I die? And then is there somebody called God, etc. These 5 subject matters are the main theme of the Gita, content of the Bhagavad Gita. So we also know that as we course through the Gita is like a, got a nice structure about it. You will see that the Gita is structured in the beginning from chapters 1 to 6. It is Karma Yoga, and in between, from chapters 7 to 12, it is Bhakti Yoga, and then it is Jnana Yoga. So I compare it to a sandwich. This, by the way, is a vegetarian sandwich. So, structure of the Gita is the real essence, the meat of it, they call it in English language, or the real juice of it, is right in the center. The top is the Karma Yoga, the bottom is the Jnana Yoga, and in between is Bhakti Yoga. It is structured like that very nicely. Of course, there are other analogies also given, like a jewel box, and the jewels are all stored inside. There's a top lid and there's a bottom base. And in this way, also, it can be compared to a jewel box. And when you open the jewel box, the lid, Karma Yoga, inside, you can see the real jewels on a platform. That is Bhakti Yoga. And the bottom base that makes up the whole jewel box is Jnana Yoga. In this way, it's compared also to a jewel box. Bhakti Yoga, Karma Yoga, and Jnana Yoga by Baladeva Vidya Bhushan. So, this, in a sense, is the Bhagavad Gita. And it is not just some tale of somebody. We have to accept it as it is, accept Krishna as God, because he is speaking, and we should do it in a spirit of devotion. How do we understand the Gita, and what attitude we should have? We should understand the Gita in a spirit of devotion. We can never set aside these very important aspects which Prabhupada is detailing in the introduction. We know what's the Gita, we know our situation, where we are and what we are, and how we should approach in the spirit of devotion. Who should teach us the Gita? A bona fide Guru coming in the Parampara, in the Sampradaya. And how we should receive the Gita in a spirit of devotion, Bhakti. So this year, you may think that sometimes people think that how is the Bhagavad Gita relevant to me? Well, many things people are going to ask, because I have in the audience also people who are new to the Gita. I thought I'll speak a little bit. A lot of conversation and a lot of debate and a lot of discussion has happened, especially in this year, about equality. Right in America, we had discussion about gender equality, race equality, and this whole thing about Black Lives Matter sprung up on the death of Mr. Floyd, who was somehow in an awkward situation, and he died. He was a Black American, and then there was a big uproar all over the world. And you will see, amazingly, all these problems that happened have all got solutions in the Bhagavad Gita. Everything that happened in this world, in this particular year especially, there was a lot of clamor about gender equality, having same opportunities, treating women and men the same. And about race, all of these are external aspects, of course, for those who know the Bhagavad Gita. But if you only take a little pain to see the Gita not as a religious text of the Hindus alone, but as a compendium of instructions to anybody living in this world, in this relative world, and suffering with the great existential dilemma: who am I? What am I doing? Why am I doing? And all these million-dollar questions. So in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna, Samoham sarvabhuteshu name dvesho asti na priyaha. I am equal to everybody. And everybody is equal to me. I don't distinguish. In the world today, we're talking about men, women, animals. There's animal rights, there is women's rights, there is human rights. Everybody is asking for their rights because everybody feels ill-treated. Nobody feels secure. And therefore, that is because there's God-centered endeavor. There's no God-centered civilization. Krishna speaks about that. Why it is what it is, this world. This world is not designed to solve all your problems all the time. Dukkhalayam ashashvatam napnuvanti mahatmanah. The design of the world is to keep you awake so that you ask these questions. It is designed for you to ask these questions. Krishna says it in the Bhagavad Gita. Anityam asukham lokam imam prapya jasvamam. So, people are, telling you, be happy, enjoy life, live in the moment, be mindful, and they're giving you a lot of techniques, but they're missing out the very basic information. The world is designed to constantly put problems in front of you. This may be bad news with the new year coming up, but dukkhalayam ashashvatam, it is a fact. Problems will never stop because this world is designed for problems. And why so? To keep you alive, to keep you running on the treadmill of inquiry. There is no comfortable place here because this is not your place. It is mentioned there in Bhagavad Gita, you don't belong here. You're here for education. You're here to learn. You're here subjected to education. And if you don't take that education, you can't get out. You can't get out. You have been pushed inside for education. And this world is designed in a particular way. Anityam asukham lokam. It is not permanent. Anitya. Asukham. You cannot expect happiness here. Dukkhalayam ashashvatam. It is temporary. All these are properties of this world. So in this situation, why do we fight about the situational problems? Let's talk about existential problems. Just like if you're in a prison house and you're put inside, you'll be given a particular uniform, a particular cap, and a type of a dress with stripes on it, and then you're put inside a particular enclosure. You have got no freedom. You're conditioned. But inside, if you get used to the conditioning, and then you talk about treating all the prisoners the same way, giving me the same amount of bread and soup that you're giving the other person, or give me the gruel and the porridge the same way, or I want a better, place, a better dress, or I want this, I want that. Inside the prisoners, when we get used to things, we start fighting with each other and trying to speak about all these things, all these material qualifications which differ in us. But this is actually carrying us away. That's not the purpose of you being the prison house. You should think about how to get out. Because out are your father, mother, your wife, your children, your job, your money. And you will be most anxious how to get out of this place. It's because you know from where you came inside. So you won't bother that one day you didn't get something, or one day another guy bumped you inside, or somebody stepped on your toes, or your chappal is like this. You will try to do something. If it doesn't work out, it's okay. Because my mind is occupied with how to get out. How to get out. Why did I do the crime? How can I, spend my time in this? That's what you will think of. So when we talk only about these things to do with gender, race, religion, etc., equality on these bases and so many other types of things, we are stuck. We're not talking about the main business. That is, who are we? Where are we? Why are we here? What is existence? What is life? We tend not to discuss these things. These are like red herrings, they say. Something that takes you away from the main. So, although it is important, Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita, don't worry about these things to Arjuna, because it doesn't matter, really speaking. Really speaking, it doesn't matter. What really matters is, imam prapya bhajasvamam. Now that you have got to this position of anityam asukham lokam, don't get involved in gender equality and race thing, because you're going to die anyway. And then about this religion and that religion, it's not important. Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam braja. Krishna is saying, give up all these religions Although earlier he said, Yada yada hi dharmasya glani bhavati bharata, I come to set dharma properly, religion properly, put people in place. In the end, he's saying, actually, it doesn't matter. The most important thing is to understand who are you, who am I, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, what's our relationship, you can get out. So, although equality is important, and Krishna says, yes, everybody is equal on the basis of everybody being spirit soul. So from the Bhagavad Gita, you'll solve all these problems of equality because you will start seeing each other as spirit souls. You don't see them as man, woman, animal, or higher, richer man, poorer man. You get this equal vision. Pandita Samadarshinaha, as Krishna says. Whether it is a elephant, a chandala, a dog, as a learned Brahmana, so Brahmane Gavihastini Shuni Chaiva Swapakecha Pandita Samadarshana. So real equality you will learn from Bhagavad Gita, a very high class vision of equality based on your spiritual identity. So although you may be of different race, different gender, different religion, the Bhagavad Gita urges all of us to live together and solve the problems of life. And this is what Prabhupada set up as the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Everybody, you may be diverse in terms of your material situation. It doesn't matter, gender, race, religion, caste, creed, job, looks, everything is definitely supposed to be different, but the differences don't matter because they are material. What really matters is the unity inside this diversity. So if we can stick to the unity, we will see we are all equal. In that unity, we are all spirit souls, part and parcel of the same Godhead. This is the only way to understand equality in a very sophisticated way and not materially. This lesson we can learn from Bhagavad Gita brilliantly. And if the world understands this, then we will be a much more peaceful society. Equality based on spiritual identity, on being children of the same Supreme Father. Then there's a lot of talk about all inclusiveness, different type of castes and creeds and gender and religions, and how there is separatism and how people are differentiated. And no, we should not look into all this and inclusive. The new generation, the Generation X or the millennials that just passed, you can see that they are more into this, and it's a good spirit. I see that they all feel an all-inclusive thing. They're not discriminating each other on the basis of caste, creed, color, nationality, any physical disadvantage or advantage. They seem to go ahead with it. I think that's a very good quality in the new generation. So Bhagavad Gita speaks about that also, of all-inclusiveness, how we can all live together if we accept that one supreme Godhead. And this is what the Christian religion actually says, what the Islamic religion actually says, it's what the Hindu religion actually says. But somehow they are so differentiated and they even fight with each other, terrorize each other, kill each other. Throughout Kali Yuga, we've seen a long history. Maybe Hindus have tolerated a lot of it and are not known to rise against so much. That's the type of history they have. However, religious history is pretty dim and not serving its real purpose. So, inclusiveness in these situations, and then the tendency to understand that everything belongs to God. Isavasham idam sarvam. And nowadays, there's a lot of talk about people having disproportionate wealth. You don't need to have so much wealth. Within your lifetime, you cannot use so much wealth. And few people, it's mentioned that 40% of the wealth in the world is owned by 1% of the people. And there's a huge disproportion. And there's waste and too much on one side, and there is, on the other side, absolutely very abject poverty. So people talk a lot about this. What type of governments are we running? What type of humanity is this? And why can't we share? And there's a big discussion on that. And then there is, due to climate change and all these things, we're talking about energy audits, and we're talking about carbon footprints. We're talking about our natural resources in the planet being utilized by some people more than the rest, and how everybody is suffering the result of some of them, the big great nations, using too much of the resources and therefore reducing the possibility of a nice, happy climate, uh, and endangering future generations very much. So we should share, and we should be mindful. We should conscientiously lead people into using the planet's resources and be concerned about others. If by doing certain things you're stepping on the toe of somebody else, then you must be concerned about it. So Bhagavad Gita teaches you that if you understand everything belongs to Krishna, Isavasham idam sarvam. Bhogaishwarya, Krishna explains it, Bhoktaram Yajnatapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram Sukhridam Sarvabhutanam Yatvamam Shanti Mrichati. If you can understand that I am the real ultimate source and enjoyer of everything, and I am providing you, and if you can understand this, and everything that is available, plenty is available. Once if you accept God and if you accept Krishna, you don't have any paucity, you don't have any shortage. There is no problem about population and everything. Bhagavad Gita brilliantly explains that. Krishna brilliantly explains that. And then the amazing thing I told you at the beginning is service and serving. We have a tendency to understand that since we have certain facilities and we see others don't have it, then we want to serve them. Because I have some good karma and I have with me and I watch people who don't have, it's up to me to serve. Why should I just enjoy possession, right? So giving up mastership and learning to be a servant, it is so enriching and improves you so much, grows you so much, amazingly. And therefore we should take up service, because Krishna himself is becoming the servant. He is becoming the servant of Arjuna by becoming his chariot driver. That is very amazing. Very, very amazing. The most amazing is to see that God, the supreme absolute truth, Matta parataram na anyat kinchidasti dhananjaya mayi sarvamidam protam sutre manigana iva, is explaining that. And so powerful and great Supreme Personality is happy to serve his devotees. He served the Pandavas so much. And this is the highlight of the Bhagavad Gita, that you can see Krishna serving people. He lowers himself down because of his love and affection, that he's willing to come down to this great extent for you to understand the truth, for you and me to understand the truth. So Krishna is showing by his own example how to care, how to serve, and how to induce in you a desire to be a devotee. So amazing aspects of Bhagavad Gita we can see as solutions to entire problems in this world. I am just listing a few of it here. But you will see there's a lot of talk today also about what yoga really is. Yoga is definitely an amazing business. It's touted to be a $60 billion business in the coming 5 to 10 years. It's already a $30 billion business. Everybody likes yoga. Everybody has got a great desire to learn yoga. What yoga really is. Bhagavad Gita is the most authoritative text on that. It teaches you full, many different types of possibilities. The whole authoritative yogic text means Krishna is not speaking to Arjuna only one solution, listen to me or you're finished. No. Krishna is giving Arjuna so many choices. In fact, initially Krishna answered Arjuna logically, scientifically, socially, in terms of varnashrama, in terms of religion and dharma, and then in terms of devotion, in terms of knowledge, in terms of yoga, in terms of karma. In all different ways, he gives answers. Very, very, what do you call, wide, all embracing. Just like Vedic literature is, accommodates any type of religious belief, which means that everything is already known. Conditioned souls, what all they will do, what all fears they have, what all insecurities they'll have, what type of philosophy they will have, is already known to the Supreme Father. And he gives a whole lot of possibilities and choices. Of course, he also gives us a hint, actually, this is best for you. If you can accept bhakti, devotion, that is the best. Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. In the 9th chapter also he says that. In the 6th chapter in the end also he says that. And everywhere he sprinkles that, but my devotee is very dear to me. But my devotee is very fortunate. But the jnani, but the karmi, but the yogi, they will have these type of difficulties. Klesho tikataras avyakta sakta chetasam avyaktihi gatir dukkam dehavat biravapyate. In the 12th chapter, Krishna is telling to Arjuna that the path of impersonalism, which in Hinduism is very popular, that, worship demigods and achieve a status equal to God, I am Brahman, etc. That is a very difficult path to attain the ultimate truth. And so also all these things Krishna explains is like a rung of the ladder. The yoga system is a big ladder. So whole Bhagavad Gita, if you say, is authoritative text on yoga. And yoga means what? Yoga means knowledge. Yoga means work. Yoga means renunciation. Yoga means devotion. Yoga means karma. All these things together is yoga system. And at different levels, something becomes more important than the other. For persons whose work is more important to them, they are recommended to be in the karma yoga process because their constitution and their inclination is more towards work. In this material world is called karma bhumi. A lot of us get into that platform. And then if you can turn it into karma yoga and nishkama karma yoga, then you'll be better off in using your desire and your proclivity to work, how you can achieve the ultimate top. Or you have a tendency to research, to knowledgeably understand, use your intelligence, analyze, rationalize. As a jnani, you have a lot of information available in Vedic literature which you can find out, understand, examine, discuss, educate yourself, and gradually on the platform of jnana or knowledge, you can climb up to achieve the truth. But the truth in itself, the Supreme Lord Krishna, is got nothing to do with karma, jnana, yoga in one sense. When you achieve the truth, it is all about devotion, bhakti. That is the most relevant aspect. So if you can directly follow bhakti yoga, Krishna is saying, you will benefit because indirectly we're trying to come through it through other stages. So today's talk about mindfulness is actually about consciousness. Consciousness is a buzzword now. Science is doing research on the brain, and they're trying to think that the brain is the seat of consciousness and everything comes from there. But here is Bhagavad Gita explaining 50 years back, Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Can you imagine how amazing it is that he titled his movement the International Society for Krishna Consciousness? So apt. It just is in one capsule, one title capturing the entire essence of the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna consciousness. Krishna is the absolute truth, the reality. Becoming conscious of the absolute truth, the reality, is what is the business of life. And if you become more and more filled with thoughts of Krishna, you'll become mindful. The more you have Krishna in your mind, the more you'll become mindful is the conclusion of the Gita. Because Krishna is not just some Hindu god, he's the absolute truth. You don't want to call him Krishna, you can call him anything else. But absorbing yourself in the absolute truth is the best cure for this type of relative situation we are in, where things are constantly in flux and changing. and you have these type of situations coming on your coronavirus, and now the next one coming, and that will happen. There'll be a tsunami, there'll be an economic crash, and there will be this problem, that problem, right? So we are asked to, in Bhagavad Gita, not try to stay here permanently, but to use this knowledge and protect yourself. Just like if it is rain, can you tell, hey, rain, stop? It's too problematic for me. I can't go to school. I can't dry my clothes. I can't do that. Rain is going to be rain. You have to build a shelter and dry your clothes inside. You have to take an umbrella to go to school. You solve your problem of rain, isn't it? In the same way, you use the Bhagavad Gita, you can raise your umbrella above you. If you use the Bhagavad Gita, you can solve your own problem, right? Like Vamanadev tells Bali Maharaj, you see, Karkaras Kantakadibhyo Yatopanam Padashivam. That if you put a Padarakshaka, a footwear, you don't have to worry about going around and cleaning the entire stones and thorns and everything on the entire road. That's not my business. I can never be able to do it. But I can do one thing. I can wear shoes. I can wear chappals. And wherever I am walking, my feet are sheltered. I don't care about the rest of it. I can't care about it. It's the same way. We are not here to solve the problems of life and change the design of Dukkalayam Ashashvatam. That's not our business. Our business is to take the Padarakshakam. Our business is to take the umbrella. Our business is to solve the problem for yourself. And that's what Bhagavad Gita is about. So, education on that direction is immensely important. So I will stop here and say that Bhagavad Gita has got the solution to every problem that is there in this world. And it has been coming up from time immemorial. And even today, Bhagavad Gita will solve all the problems. There is no other great solution, actually. So somehow it's our great fortune that we have got in touch with the Gita, and we are special human beings. We have the capacity to read the Gita and understand and solve the miseries and problems of life. And if we do that, there is no doubt that we will have success. Okay? So this is a short recap, and this is short overview of the problems we have today and how we can utilize the Bhagavad Gita to welcome 2021, and how we can become serious about solving the problems of life by taking the instructions given by Krishna and following them under a bona fide guru. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada is offering that amazing facility through his International Society for Krishna Consciousness. And we welcome all of you, and we'll be very happy to help you. Just as much as Krishna laid himself down out of affection and love for Arjuna and gave him the best counsel ever, we will be very happy to cannot do the same thing, but in the same spirit of Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada's offer to the whole world to help, we also want to perpetrate that legacy. We'll be very happy to work with you, but the problems you have, and to help you in Krishna consciousness and the understanding of the Gita, and in this way become very successful and happy. Om Tat Sat. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. If you have any question, or any comment, I would be very happy to help you to try to answer some of those questions. Yes. All the devotees from Kanaya Desh or Kuwait, if you have any question, please, we'll be happy.
Can ask the question directly by admitting.
However you want.
Yeah, other you can type in the chat box. That way also we can make the questions.
Yeah.
Maharaj, I first question you would have said that the young generation, they are like more, there is no racism in between them, and they are like mingling nicely. There is no casteism, and they are not fighting.
Yeah.
But even though we are seeing that it is very difficult for them to adopt the teaching of Bhagavad Gita. They are doing all other things, but when the thing comes to adopt the teaching of Bhagavad Gita, we see that a lot of challenges and difficulties are there. And the other question I want to ask is
we will answer this question first. Well, my point of saying that they're all very inclusive is that the point is that they have a nice quality of not pointing out somebody's difficulty or shortcoming, but feeling for them and saying that, please, I like to include you inside. I don't want you to feel discriminated. I think that's a good quality. That's a good quality because this world has suffered a lot of discrimination. But that in itself does not mean that because they're inclusive that they will accept the Gita. I didn't say that. It's true that there are good qualities in this generation of being very well informed. Many of them are very sharp and ask lots of questions because they have a lot of information. I deal a lot with many youngsters, and I find it very fascinating, the questions they ask and the thinking that they do, the type of information access they have, and all that. So we need to nicely get their confidence because I think they're intelligent and well informed. And definitely, if the Bhagavad Gita is presented nicely to them properly, I think they will accept it because they're intelligent, well informed. It's just a question of time. It will take a little longer time to accept, maybe. Because when you're young and there's a lot of opportunities for many things, it has to be presented also in a different way. If Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada could present the Bhagavad Gita during the Vietnam War and the hippie days in America to the youngest of people, it is proven fact that the Bhagavad Gita can be similarly presented to the young at all points of time. It is just that we have to learn how to do it. We have to learn how to do it because it is truth. It is truth that one thing Prabhupada was fully convinced about is they will accept it because it is the absolute truth. You can't deny it. And he had firm conviction in the Gita's words. He went there and he was inspired to present it wonderfully by Krishna. So this is different for each person. It is different. So you can see sometimes parents make the mistake of rubbing it too hard on the children without understanding where they are. I think like Krishna went down to Arjuna and became his good friend, and even his chariot driver, he did service, and then he spoke to Arjuna. In the same way, we should also bend low, roll our sleeves up, sit down with the youngster and say, what do you exactly mean? Where are you situated? What are your feelings? What's your pulse? And if you feel for them and be with them and appreciate that this thing and then present it, you'll be understanding better how to present it and market it with them. That's my little practical overview advice. Okay? Thank you. Anybody else with a question? Okay, I'll just come back to you 1 minute about Hare Krishna Maharaj, how to present this transcendental literature, BG, as a secular book that's meant for entire humanity, irrespective of anyone's faith. This is a question from Shamalanga Sridama Das. So, nice question. How to present transcendental literature, BG, as a secular book. Actually, it is a secular book, but not secular according to the definition and practice in India. In India, secular means no religion we should look into. Secular actually means every religion you look into. But actually, secularism is not the right way to look at it. The Vedic literature is all embracing. You'll be amazed to know what they call Hinduism is a way of life. Hinduism does not oppose anybody. Hinduism is all like coming out of ignorance only, that type of statements. That's not the real meaning of it. Vedic literature is pronounced by God, the Supreme Father. He accommodates everybody's view and he gradually tries to get them to the absolute understanding. So, Krishna's program also in Bhagavad Gita is all embracing and all accommodating, actually. That's why you'll see the proposals given by Krishna to Arjuna are varied. Although he says, this is the best for you, Bhakti. Where? Okay. How come it's happening by itself? Can you hear me now?
Yes, Maharaj.
Yeah. So the Hindus saying that, we are a way of life, we have never opposed anybody can come. That is because you yourself did not know what your religion is very well. And everybody looted and pilfered and pillaged. You were just, weak and you did not know. And you were fighting amongst yourselves. The situation was very different. But original Vedic viewpoint is propounded by the Supreme Lord, who is your father. And will the father make a plan and discriminate amongst his children? No. So Bhagavad Gita was also propounded like that. It is actually meant for everybody. So I don't want to call that secular. I want to call it meaningful to everybody, because every soul wants to understand the truth, wants to understand the reality, is struggling using his intelligence. With just that, there are no people leading them properly. There are no proper leaders. So it is a secular book. We need to present it. And without being too religious, sometimes I do that when I go in the Western world to preach and talk to people. And I find it exciting to present it in a secular way. Because we talk about the problems of life, just like now I have given you a secular presentation by showing you equality, mindfulness, yoga, inclusiveness, and all these things are problems. And the people are talking about these things. All of them are there in the Bhagavad Gita. And you just have to take it and present it according to the time, place, and circumstance. And many devotees all over the world in many places are already doing it. I go and meet them and I'm excited about the programs that they do. And they're bringing and convincing many people to finally accept the Bhagavad Gita and chanting of the holy names and become a devotee. So that transformation is requiring some amount of expertise, some amount of empowerment, and some amount of skill that we can learn according to time, place, and circumstance. But it's a very important point you mentioned. In a secular way, presenting has become very important in this world now, where everybody accesses all sorts of information and they don't like religious dogma, bigotry, and fanaticism. And Krishna consciousness is not fanatic. It can accommodate everybody. Prabhupada has already proven it by taking it all over the world. And it is the most broad-minded proposal given by Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. We should never present it as a fanatic thing. It is never meant to be like that. In fact, if you read the Bhagavad Gita carefully, it doesn't fall under the grouping of ordinary religion. What Krishna is telling in the Bhagavad Gita in the end is Sarvadharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Braja. Give up all these religious stuff. Yata te mohila khilam. He says, when you come out of this forest, dense forest of all rules, regulations, dharma, that thing, this thing, then you will understand what is the real purpose of religion. The real purpose of religion is to achieve the truth, the reality. And the absolute truth is a person. He is Krishna. If you don't want to call him Krishna, you can call him anybody else, anything else, any name. But you want to achieve the absolute truth. Everybody is looking for the truth. Scientists are looking for the truth. Philosophers are looking for the truth. Religionists are looking for the truth. All sorts of people are looking, what is going on? What is the truth? That's what you get in the Bhagavad Gita. So sometimes you don't have to present it religiously. Present it philosophically. And present it socially. All these things are possible through the Bhagavad Gita. And Krishna does it, actually. Okay? I'm sure that we'll be able to look more into it. So I'll take the question of Prabhu from Kuwait again. Kanaya Desh.
Thanks a lot, Maharaj.
Hari Bol.
Maharaj, I want to ask that now in Kuwait, the book distribution is very difficult. We cannot go out. In India, devotees are going for book distribution outside. But sometimes people are very envious. They are very aggressive when they do book distribution. So the enthusiasm of the devotees concerning book distribution that time is very low because of the behavior of the people towards them. So how to overcome this situation at the time when we are doing distribution? And the people are envious of Bhagavad Gita or they are envious of yes.
Just you avoid the envious people. Give a broad, wide smile and say, I'm very sorry if I've disturbed you. Here is a little something for you to eat, some prasadam. And, I'm very sorry if I've disturbed you in any way. Be nice to them. And just pray to Krishna within their hearts that they should somehow or the other get this message of yours. Seeing your own determination, Krishna is situated in everybody's heart. He would definitely make arrangement if it is possible right then. Even Krishna is subservient to the desire of that soul. He is not pushing it aggressively. But seeing you doing it, he may be very happy. But then that soul's aggressive opposition to your thing, not always that he can do anything about it also. So all we can say is, I'm trying to do my best as a salesman of the Gita. If you did not want the product, if you don't value it, that's okay. I want to leave you with a good experience. That's enough. That's all. That's all we can do. There are many other people who are not aggressive. We will focus on them. This is my first advice. Don't waste time unnecessarily arguing with people and spending your time. Finally, it's not possible. Using that time, you may be able to affect more people who are more favorable and interested, and many of them are suffering. Even if they are not interested, you can get them interested. So work with them. That will be better. Okay? Right. If you don't have any other question from Shyamadesh? I'm sorry, from, yes. Yes. Please, you'll have to read it to me.
What is the best way to
What is the best way to repeat that again?
Best way to be in the state of smarana.
Okay, in remembrance. Yes, what your senses contact and what your mind processes all the time, that will be what is filling up your thoughts. So right now we are filled with thoughts about our existence, our job, getting out something for us for roti, kapda and makan, for this and that and this problem, that problem. Human life is like that. But if we can start putting inside thoughts of Krishna, his instructions from Bhagavad Gita, if we can join with devotees together and put that type of thought inside about yourself, about your future, about the truth, and all these things become interesting once you start getting a taste. Once you get a taste, it will occupy your mind a lot more. And the more it occupies, other thoughts become secondary. They are not really actually important. But unless you put something important, you won't feel that they are not important. So you have to visaya vinivartante nidaharasya dehina rasovarjam rasopyasya param drishtva nivartate. Krishna is explaining this in Bhagavad Gita. He's saying that give yourself a higher taste. If you give yourself a higher taste and you start tasting that, then the lower taste will disappear. Similarly, when you put greater thoughts about your existence, about your identity, about who are you, why do you die, who is Krishna, how he can help you, what's the Bhagavad Gita saying, these things will start occupying your mind a lot. And then you will be able to do smarana much easily. Right? So association with devotees, constantly reading the Bhagavad Gita, chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. You must push yourself to do. Sometimes your mind is very difficult to control. But after some time, you will settle down to have that taste and it will not be so difficult for smarana. Okay, Mataji, I hope that helps you. So thank you all very much for joining today on this auspicious day of Bhagavad Gita and remembering Krishna, who gave this amazing, wonderful instruction to humanity. And by the mercy of Krishna, by the mercy of pure devotee like Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada and his followers, we have somehow got into it and got an opportunity. Don't leave it. Don't lose it. Sakala neha mahata yogo nashta parantapa. Krishna also said over a period of time, nashta, we lost it. And so he's speaking, sa evayam mayate adya yoga prokta puratana. So hold it very tightly. Whatever difficulties and challenges may be there, don't give up. Keep reading the Gita. Keep chanting Hare Krishna. And definitely your Supreme Father Krishna will show mercy. I wish you all the best in the coming year. And it'll be a year filled with Bhagavad Gita realizations so that you may get success both materially and spiritually using the principles of Bhagavad Gita that Krishna has shown us. It is practical, it is doable, it is achievable. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Hari Bol.